Walk into a Costco in 2026 and walk into a Sam's Club the same week. Look at the electronics sections. Look hard. On the surface, they look almost identical. Same brands, similar prices, same big stacks of TVs against the wall. Same laptop tables near the front, same earbud bundles and soundbars and tablets and printers. But the people who actually own these products, the ones living with them for years, are starting to notice something the displays don't show. One of these clubs is quietly winning the electronics game, not because of pricing, not because of selection, because of what happens after you carry the box home. And the gap is wider than most people realize. Here's something almost nobody understands when they're comparing electronics at warehouse clubs. The TV at Costco and the TV at Sam's Club, even when they're from the same manufacturer with almost the same name, are often not the same TV. The model numbers end in different letters, sometimes a single character, sometimes a whole string. The marketing material doesn't explain why. The price tags don't say. But underneath, the panels can differ. The processors can differ. The number of DHD ports, the refresh rates, the speakers, the smart platform memory. Sometimes everything's identical and the letter is just a tracking code. Sometimes it's not. This isn't a Costco problem or a Sam's Club problem specifically. It's a manufacturer strategy. Every major TV brand does it. They build variants for different retailers. The variants get reviewed less because reviewers test the mainstream model. By the time owners notice the differences, the return window has usually closed. The frustrating part is figuring out which variant you actually bought. That's the part people get tired of. Costco's electronics return window is 90 days. Sam's Club's is for many electronics also 90 days. On paper, identical. But the experience around those policies is where things diverge. Costco has concierge service, a 2-year extension on TV and major appliance warranties, built into the purchase price, no extra cost. You call, they help, they often replace the unit without much friction. Members talk about this constantly in forums and complaint threads. The service is one of the most consistently praised parts of the entire membership. Sam's Club's equivalent program exists but feels thinner in practice. The protection plans are mostly third-party. Reaching support takes longer. The replacement process has more steps. Members who've used both consistently describe the same pattern, same return window. Different consequences when something fails after the window closes. And in modern electronics, something almost always fails after the window closes. This is where the real difference shows up. A smart TV at either warehouse bought today will probably look great for about 2 years. Beautiful picture, snappy interface, apps that load instantly, everything humming along. Then the slow decline starts. Around year 3, apps begin loading slower. The home screen takes longer to appear after powering on. The remote starts pairing inconsistently. By year 4, an app or two has been quietly removed from the platform because the manufacturer stopped pushing updates to that model. The picture is fine. The picture is still excellent. Everything around the picture is just slowly dying. This happens regardless of which warehouse you bought it from, because the manufacturer controls the software, not the retailer. But what differs is the path forward. A TV bought at Costco, when its software collapses inside the concierge window, can often be replaced or refunded. A TV bought at Sam's Club, once the window closes, you're working with the manufacturer directly. That's a different phone call, a longer phone call, sometimes a much longer phone call. The apps died before the screen did, and the receipt in your drawer is suddenly very important. Look at the laptop tables at both clubs. 2 years ago, almost identical. Today, also almost identical. Mostly the same brands, mostly the same configurations. Prices within a few dollars of each other on most models. The difference shows up at year 3. Lithium batteries in budget and mid-range laptops have a brutally consistent failure pattern. Somewhere between 30 and 48 months, they start to swell. Not always, but often enough that repair technicians see it constantly. The battery is glued into the chassis. Not screwed, glued. Replacing it means heating the laptop, prying carefully, scraping adhesive, and praying the connector cable doesn't tear. Shops charge anywhere from $200 to $400 to do it right. The laptop on the warehouse shelf often costs $500 new. The math becomes absurd. pay almost as much to fix the laptop as to replace it, knowing the replacement will probably do the same thing in 3 more years. So people don't fix it. They throw it in a drawer, they buy another one. The pattern repeats. Neither club caused this problem. Both clubs benefit from it in the same quiet way that all electronics retailers benefit from short product lifespans. More replacements equals more sales. But the Costco extended warranty does, occasionally, catch the swelling saturate within the 2-year window. Sam's Club structure does not, in the same way with the same consistency. That's a small detail. Until it happens to you. This is one of those small ownership frustrations that doesn't show up in any review. Wireless soundbar systems, the kind sold in bundles at both warehouses, work beautifully for the first year. The subwoofer thumps. The rear speakers, if there are any, do their job. Movies sound great. Then one night, the rear speakers drop out mid-film. You reboot, they come back. 2 weeks later, it happens again. By month 18, it's happening twice a week. By year 2, every single movie session starts with a soundbar reset. The firmware up to fix it, then break it, then fix it again. Then the manufacturer stops updating that model entirely. You buy the bundle for the rears. You stop using the rears. You unplug the subwoofer when it acts up. You keep the manual in a drawer because you've read it more times than the book on your nightstand. The workaround became part of ownership. Costco's 2-year coverage will sometimes handle a soundbar that's clearly malfunctioning inside the window. Sam's Club will too if you push, but the experience is different. The phone tree is different. The hold music is longer. The answer at the end is often, have you tried updating the firmware? You have. You've updated it 40 times. Now look outside electronics at major appliances because the same logic applies. A French door fridge at either warehouse, between $2,000 and $3,000 depending on the model. Both clubs sell similar lineups, both offer financing, both will deliver. The ice maker on these things, across almost every brand, has a known failure pattern around year 3. Hollow cubes, slow production, eventually nothing. The part runs around $200. The service call adds another $200. The labor is another $100 to $150 because the part is buried behind panels and wiring. $500 to fix a feature on a fridge that's now worth less than it was new. Yale Appliance has been tracking this for years. Their service data shows specific brands and specific model lines with replacement rates that are uncomfortable to look at. Costco's extended coverage handles the first 2 years. Sam's Club's coverage is less consistent on appliances. After year 2, both club members are in the same situation, calling the manufacturer, waiting on hold, hearing about parts on backorder, eventually paying out of pocket or learning to buy bagged ice for the rest of the appliance's life. The replacement ice maker, when you finally install one, fails the same way the original did. Same symptom, same timeline, same hollow cubes. That's when you realize the part wasn't defective. The part was the design. Wireless earbuds at both warehouses, stacked near the registers, bundled with phones, sold standalone. $20 at the low end, $300 at the top. Lifespan, across almost every model between 2 and 3 years. The batteries inside are smaller than a dime. They degrade fast. By year 2, the left bud lasts 90 minutes and the right bud lasts 45. By year 3, one of them refuses to charge at all. They're sealed, not repairable, not recyclable in any meaningful way. $150 of electronics, dead in 24 months. You buy the next pair. You feel slightly defeated. You don't fully process it. You just throw the old ones in a drawer with the others. There's always a drawer. Here's the pattern that almost every household ends up at, regardless of which warehouse they shopped at. You buy a smart TV, you use the smart features for a year, maybe 2. The apps slow down. The remote acts up. The home screen takes forever. You buy a Roku or a Fire Stick or an Apple TV. From that day forward, the TV is a screen. The $1,000 piece of equipment in your living room has been demoted to monitor status. The $30 streaming stick is doing all the actual work. And when the streaming stick gets slow in 3 years, you'll buy another one. Because at $30, it's disposable. That's the inversion that nobody warns about. The cheap thing outlasts the expensive thing functionally. Because the cheap thing is replaceable, and the expensive thing is locked. Both Costco and Sam's Club sell streaming sticks now prominently. They know exactly what's happening. After all of this, the honest answer surprises nobody. Costco is winning the electronics game 2026. Not by a wide margin on price, not by a wide margin on selection, by a meaningful margin on post-purchase experience. The concierge 2-year extension is real. The return process, while not perfect, is consistently described as easier. The willingness to take back a TV at month 18 because the app stopped working is something Sam's Club members report less often. Sam's Club is improving. The pricing is sometimes better. The financing options can be aggressive. The membership cost is lower. For pure dollar per feature shopping on day one, Sam's Club often wins. But electronics aren't a day one product anymore. They're a 5-year relationship. And in that 5-year relationship, the small differences compound. The TV that breaks in month 16 is replaced under Costco's extension. The same TV breaks in month 16 at Sam's Club, and the conversation is with the manufacturer. Same product, same failure, different ending. Neither club is going to save anyone from the reality of modern electronics. Both are selling products engineered to fail in predictable windows. Both rely on suppliers who've decided that disposability is more profitable than durability. Both have customers who eventually end up frustrated, regardless of where they bought the box. Costco just has slightly better insulation against the worst of it, the 2-year coverage, the easier returns, the membership that quietly does some of the work the manufacturers should have been doing in the first place. These aren't huge differences. They're small differences that matter. The TV from either club will probably die in about the same way at about the same time. The fridge will lose its ice maker around the same year. The earbuds will swell or stop charging on the same timeline. The laptop battery will bulge regardless of which checkout you ran your card through. But the conversation afterward is different. That's the only difference that ends up mattering. Modern electronics ownership is exhausting, not because the products are catastrophic failures, because they're mediocre survivors. They limp, they reboot, they lose features overnight. They almost work. They mostly work. They never quite work the way they did on day one. Nothing is fully broken. Nothing is fully working. The warehouse you bought it from won't change that fundamental reality. The manufacturer set the lifespan. The engineering team made the decisions years ago. The retailer is just the distribution channel. But the warehouse can make the failure cheaper or more expensive, easier or harder, faster to resolve or slower. And on those specific metrics in 2026, Costco is winning. It's not a dramatic victory, it's a quiet one. For viewers trying to decide where to spend the membership fee, the answer comes down to honest math. If you keep electronics for less than 2 years, both clubs are fine. If you keep them longer, and most people do, the Costco coverage starts to earn its keep. Drop a comment with the electronic at either warehouse that gave you the most ownership pain. The replies will probably look identical, regardless of which club you shopped at. That's the system, that's the design. The plasma in someone's basement, 15 years old, no smart features, no apps, no updates, still turns on every time. It outlasted everything the warehouse club has sold since. That's the part that should make all of us pause.